What's going on, everybody? I'm David with Southern Style DIY, and today I'm going to show you how I made this laptop tray using a new technique to me, bent wood lamination. Check it out. We've got two blanks cut out, and I'm actually going to draw the tray design directly onto one of these boards, and we'll sandwich the two together later to cut them out at the same time. Now these are just used in order to help with clamping the curves together. These aren't going to be used in the final project, so we can just draw directly on them. We're going to start with the top and only cut that out, and then later on we'll end up chopping up the bottom a little bit more in order to cut out the legs. So I'm going to use some blue tape with some CA glue on it between these two pieces in order to sandwich them together so that when we cut the profile into the form, we cut it on both sides, and then we'll also sand it so that both of these forms are perfectly identical. Then we can actually sandwich the plywood in between it. Using the blue tape, we'll keep the CA glue from sticking to the wood. We gotta move quickly. And now we wait. This design is you want to make sure that you do all of your curve cuts for one side first, so that you do them on one side, flip the whole piece over like I'm doing now, to then do the opposite curve cuts. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is as you make more, the whole thing is going to start to get a little bit more wobbly, so you want to take a scrap piece of wood a little bit longer so you can get a good grip on it away from the blade, and make sure you keep the piece weighted down on top of the blade. Now make sure that the blade goes to the right depth and you do the cracking, hopefully, later. Ready to start the glue up. I did add blocks so that my clamps had something to grip onto, especially where these curves are. I added some that are at an angle to give an extra amount of pressure on those curves so that we get the bend that we really want. I also added some packing tape so that any glue squeeze out won't get on the form, but it'll just get on the tape and we can replace that if we need to. So now let's go ahead and glue everything up. This actually turned out really well. Even with just the 2 sheets of plywood on there right now, this is actually pretty strong. Putting the legs on there is gonna beef it up just enough for us. So I think the next thing we need to do is actually disassemble the whole form, keeping track of what pieces go where. And then we're gonna cut out this middle section so that we have somewhere to actually make the form for the middle part. And since you've already seen me do this once, it's montage time. Form and the glue went super well. All these layers have laminated together exactly how we wanted. Now where all 4 layers come together, they're not flush and we need to get them there. I don't really want to use a power saw because I'm worried about tear out with these really thin veneers. So I'm gonna try a power plane. I have no idea if this is gonna work, so I'm gonna give it a try. I'm hoping that this will mitigate tear out, but we'll find out. so the power plane worked exactly as I thought it would. I was able to get all 4 layers completely flush to each other with absolutely no tear out. I just had a little bit of fuzz that I was able to clean up by sanding the entire piece up to 320 grit. And that was in preparation for my finish. I'm gonna use some spray polyurethane, and that's gonna allow me to get into all these nooks and crannies without any cleanup whatsoever. It's also gonna yellow the wood a little bit and bring out some of the natural grain. Now I'm gonna spray the bottom first, flip it while it's wet, and then spray the top. I'm able to do that while it's wet by using these bench cookies with this bridge attachment. The bridge comes up to a point, and that's gonna allow me to put the feet on this point and not completely ruin the finish on those so that I still have something to come back to. So let's go ahead and start spraying. Here it is, the completed bent wood laptop tray. I am incredibly happy with how this project turned out. A huge shout out to the guys over at the Modern Maker podcast for putting on the Rockler Bent Wood challenge. Without that challenge, I never would have pursued a project that pushed me as much as this one did. I learned a ton, both from the design standpoint and the making standpoint, which is the whole reason I got into making in the first place. If you'd be interested in seeing what I would do differently if I were to build a second one and some of the mistakes I made, let me know down in the comments below. If you're interested in seeing what I've got going on day to day in my shop, I left a link to my Instagram page down in the description below. Until next time everyone, take care.